think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
From fans, are you excited yet? Season 3 of the wildly popular show comes out on September 22nd on MGM+, and everyone is hoping to find answers to the dozens of lingering questions the first 2 seasons of From have left behind. A new teaser trailer has dropped for Season 3, and well, it does not look very hopeful for the residents of the town. A lot of details have been condensed into the short teaser, and from its appearance, these harrowing details will play important roles in furthering the development of the storyline, with the last 2 seasons barely answering any of the burning questions about the mysterious town, the deadly creatures, and even the details of the lives of the residents. Fans are looking forward to Season 3, with the hope that some of the mysteries will be resolved. A lot of fans have jokingly said how the writers themselves do not know what is happening because the plotline is getting more complicated with every episode. Let's hope that is not the case. If you have watched the teaser trailer for Season 3 of From, you naturally have a lot of questions about the same. Worry not, this video will be a complete rundown of the details shown in the trailer, including the possible direction Season 3 will take, and of course, the numerous monsters that appear in it. A small spoiler warning for those who have not watched the trailer yet, or have not caught up with the end of Season 2, in which case, what are you waiting for? This show is absolutely worth it, we promise.
But before we do that, we have a small request. If you enjoy our content, please give this video a massive thumbs up, share it with your friends, and smash that subscribe button with the notification bell turned to all while you're at it. It helps us create the content that you love and bring in more marvelous viewers like you. Now, on to the video.
Are you ready for chilling adventure of From Season 3? Season 2 of From largely focused on exploring the lives of the residents of the eerie town as they tried to come to terms with being stuck in a nightmare and finding ways to escape back to reality. Don't take this sentence literally, after all, despite the theories that say everything happening in From could be a dream sequence. For now, it is very real for the residents who are facing innumerable horrors every day. At the end of Season 2, we see Boyd destroy the music box, liberating Julie, Randall, and Marielle from its possession. Tabitha, with Victor's help, manages to get into a special faraway tree and is transported to the tower, where the boy in white pushes her from the top. She then wakes up in a hospital back in the real world, but her family is not with her, seemingly stuck in the town. It appears that Tabitha has managed to escape the world she was stuck in, but now she has to reunite with her family. The trailer shows Tabitha in the hospital room, wearing a patient's gown, slowly moving towards a window and parting the blinds to look at what is outside. The bustling city stares back at her from the other side, with no sign of the haunted town she was stuck in. She cannot believe that she has made it back, and her family has not. She then meets with a priest and tells him how everything that she has been through is simply not possible. It is not shown where she meets with the priest. She might still be in the hospital and could have wanted to talk to someone who would not discredit her story as psychotic hallucinations. She probably feels apprehensive about talking to a therapist, and given the supernatural events she had witnessed in the town, a priest seems like the best option. However, later in the trailer, she is seen out of the hospital, possibly having been discharged. She arrives at a house which has a bottle tree out front, which she stares at. Is it a mere coincidence that such a tree exists in the real world as well as in the town she was stuck in? She enters the house, and an elderly man tells her that she is probably looking for what is in the basement. When he takes her there, she comes across numerous paintings, most of them portraying what appears to be a young boy and girl side by side. Tabitha has no idea what to say anymore, and she continues to inspect the paintings. Of course, the trailer has only shown snippets of the season, so we have no way of knowing right now who the man she met with is, or how she even found him. However, the theories are already brewing because this man has never been seen in the show before. Some fans believe this is Victor's father, who has never been mentioned before in the show. When the man is seen talking to Tabitha, a picture of a young girl on the wall next to him looks suspiciously like Eloise, Victor's sister. It was revealed in Season 2 that Victor had stumbled into the town with his mother, Miranda, and his sister. However, they had been killed at the hands of the creatures. Now, here, there appears to be some sort of a puzzle, because while Victor said that he had found his mother's body near the faraway tree, it is not explicitly mentioned if he had found his sister's body as well. Some fans say that Eloise had run after Miranda, and they had both managed to reach the faraway tree. tree, but only Eloise had escaped to the real world and it was too late for Miranda. If that is the case, then it is possible for Eloise to have returned to her life, and she had been living with her father, and as a result of the trauma of having been stuck in the town and leaving her brother behind, she started painting to cope. After all, we know that Eloise is the one who would draw back when Victor was a child. Another theory could be that Eloise escaped from the town and got married in the real world, and the man Tabitha met is her husband. Mind you, Eloise herself is not seen in the trailer, so all of this is speculation based on the premise that Eloise had not died that night all those years back. Either way, the man Tabitha meets is very likely to have some relationship with Victor, since a picture on his wall strongly resembles Eloise. That's all that happens in the outside world. In the town, people are still struggling to survive, and things seem to have taken a turn for the worse. One of the most striking changes in the town is the arrival of winter, as the ground is covered with snow. In the previous seasons of the show, the season was mostly summer or early fall. Moreover, Victor had mentioned how the leaves of the trees were falling, and that it had never happened before. Leaves falling from trees are naturally a sign of winter approaching, and Victor is the oldest resident of the town who has probably been there for almost 40 years or more. If he says that the leaves had never fallen off the trees before, it could indicate that the world in the town had a long-drawn summer season for years, and now that is slowly changing and winter is approaching. Victor is seen holding a map of some sort in his hand. It could also be a cluster of papers with trees drawn on them, and then he goes out with his shovel and starts to dig around the trees. He tells Sarah that he needs to remember what is missing, as a lot of things are changing. Jade and Boyd are seen dragging a cart behind them, which has a body. It is covered up, except for the feet, one bare and the other still with a shoe on. Boyd says it was an ambush, and he probably indicates that the creatures had ambushed and killed someone. He has blood all over his shirt, but appears unharmed otherwise, so it could be someone else's blood. Donna appears to be very emotional as she asks Boyd how many people he was able to save. His answer is not mentioned in the trailer, but Donna continues to say that Boyd did the only thing he could have done, and he lost. This entire segment appears to be a fast forward because, in the next shot, he is seen with the same shirt without the bloodstains, indicating that whatever had happened, i.e. the ambush Boyd talked about, happened later. He talks to someone, saying that they are still very much living in that supernatural world and no one knows what they are dealing with. He also promises everyone that they will get out of this, but they will have to do it together. In the meanwhile, Donna informs him that they are out of food, which creates a new tension in the show, and later she cries while saying, "Why can't they leave us alone?" possibly meaning the creatures. We do not want to get too speculative about this, but usually in situations where people have been stranded without food, they end up turning against one another. In a town where every force of nature is already a rival for the residents, will they start to become even more paranoid and embittered towards each other because they no longer have food? Boyd is also shown walking around with a bell in his hand, ringing it around, and the sound is nothing short of ominous. The way he is shown to be constantly mediating things around can point to there being a dispute among the residents, which could be because of the lack of food. Boyd continuously emphasizes how they are all trapped together, and there is no point in being individualistic. He still believes that the residents will win and make it out of the town alive. However, it is clear that his will is being tested, and he might slowly start losing hope. Jade comes face to face with someone who appears to be neither a human nor a creature. The person has no right eye. There is blood coming out of the socket. He is wearing tattered clothes and has dirty hands with a human skeleton in them. As Jade looks on, horrified, the person raises the skeleton and appears to be drinking from it. This is a total mystery because nothing of this sort has been witnessed in the show before. The creatures are known to kill people, but they have never carried around bones, and they always have a very calm and clean appearance, unlike this person Jade encountered. However, this segment was included in the trailer, so it is obvious that whatever happened here will play a very significant role in the events of the third season. Jade is later seen lying on the ground with what appear to be strings tangled up in a disorderly fashion above him, while he looks at them and contemplates. In the trailer, there is a scene where the creatures close in on the residents at night, and the milkman creature comes close to who appears to be Jade, but Victor rushes in to presumably save him. The milkman creature has blood in his left hand and a slaughtered animal in front of him, and the same animal is seen lying on the ground the morning when Boyd tells everyone they were ambushed. Jim then then tells Boyd that things are getting worse in the town, and although Boyd does not answer him verbally, he nods his head. Jim and Kenny are then seen going through the forest, and it can be assumed that they are looking for Tabitha. However, they come across what appears to be a voodoo doll / mannequin, and parts of it look suspiciously like a human skeleton. The trailer does not show what Jim and Kenny's reaction to finding this is, but Kenny is shown reaching for his gun later. Towards the end of the trailer, we come across more of these voodoo doll mannequin things. Earlier in the trailer, Kenny is seen smashing the radio in a fit of anger, and this happens after Boyd and Jade drag the body out in the cart. Some fans say that the body in the cart is Kenny's mother, because she is seen surrounded by creatures closing in on her later in the trailer, which could have happened earlier, since the trailer is clearly not sequential. Kenny's rage could have been a result of knowing that his mother had passed away at the hands of the creatures. However, some other fans say that the body belongs to Fatima. This is also a fair possibility because, in another teaser, Boyd was shown to be restrained and tied to a bar in a barn by the cowboy creature and 2 others. One of them is the Professor creature, a new monster. While he was in tears trying to comfort whoever was in front of him, the audience could only hear the wails and screams of a woman. Some fans say that this was Fatima, who was giving birth at that time and hence was screaming due to the pain of labor, and Boyd was trying to comfort her because her baby is technically his grandson. It is possible that the creatures had caught Boyd as well as Fatima and were trying to take her baby away or kill it and make Boyd watch. This explains why they merely restrained him after having caught him instead of tearing him to pieces, which is their usual MO once they have a victim in their clutches. There is a lot of speculation about Fatima's pregnancy throughout the series because her conceiving a child was a complete surprise since she believed she was infertile. Fans say that it is possible for her to have been able to conceive only because she is in the world of From and the conception is not natural. Earlier, Ellis had a dream of his child being born with fangs, which can support the theory that Fatima's baby is not a human but something that the creatures want for themselves. In short, it could be a Rosemary's Baby situation, so the creatures possibly take away her baby and leave her to die, as we see Boyd carrying someone while appearing extremely distressed. Moreover, in the trailer, Fatima is shown to be seemingly coughing blood and putting her finger in her mouth, which is all bloody. Could it be that whatever the child is inside her is hurting her? Another theory says that the body in the cart is Sarah, who was tortured and killed by the creatures while Boyd was made to watch. The two had developed a close bond in the earlier season, and making Boyd watch while someone close to him is being hurt and killed could be yet another sadistic attempt by the creatures to break his spirit. In fact, the cowboy creature tells Boyd how he had said the town would not overwhelm him, but in fact, he was slowly losing his battle. Finally, there are those who believe that the body belongs to none other than Tabitha, who fell from the top of the tower and was found by Boyd and Jade. However, this does not seem very likely, since it is clear that she has made her way back to the real world. The old lady creature makes a comeback when Ethan opens the door for her, and she greets him. However, Julie grabs him and asks him to run while trying to slam the door, but the creature does not allow it. While we do not know why Ethan opened the door, we see the siblings run out of the back door and seemingly get saved by Sarah. Later, the residents gather for what appears to be a meeting, maybe about the food shortage situation. A new character appears in the trailer, seemingly an EMT or a policewoman who points a gun in front of her, but a creature is seen coming up behind her. She can be a new person who had the bad luck to stumble into the town. Boyd is shown to be rummaging through a van, which could be the ambulance the EMT woman came in, and is surrounded by creatures. The waitress creature holds up the keys and mockingly asks him if he is looking for them. As Boyd recoils in horror, she tells him that he cannot save everyone. Randall is seen in the trailer, talking about how he believes death is not the worst thing that can happen to the residents of the town. This could possibly point to the fact that the people of the town become the creatures later after death, because when the smiley creature was killed, his internal anatomy was that of a human being, just dry and shriveled up. Randall could mean that dying is not the worst thing that can happen to them. They can end up becoming creatures and prey on the other residents. Later on, he is hit by something and falls on the ground, holding his nose, and is seen being surrounded by creatures. A very creepy thing that makes its way to the trailer is the dummy that Jade had seen in the earlier season. It does not do anything in particular, but the fact that the makers of the show put it in the 30-second trailer obviously means it has some role to play in this upcoming season. Jim gets a call on the phone at the house and answers it. The trailer does not show who called him, but some fans believe that it could possibly be Tabitha, and this would mean she has found some way to communicate with those stuck in the town from the outside world. However, we do not know for sure and have to wait until September to know the truth. We can go on and on after all. There are too many questions no one knows the answers to, and everything shown in the trailer only raises the curiosity bar. What we can assume is that the creatures are getting more sadistic and cunning in their approach. As winter has set in, some fans say that the change in season can indicate that the creatures get more powerful in the winter. We know that before the talismans were discovered, the people used to hide in bunkers and bushes at night to escape the creatures, and back then, the monsters used to howl and yell loudly. It can be presumed that this was the tactic used by them to scare the people out of their hiding places so that they could be killed. However, after the talismans were found and people could be safely inside their homes, the creatures stopped screaming and howling and instead became quieter and devised newer methods of hunting their prey. In that regard, this could be another step in the evolution of the creatures, as they are employing newer methods to get their hands on the residents of the town. And if this ends up being true, then the people have to make sure they do not end up falling prey to the creatures and up their own survival tactics. From what we have seen in the trailer so far, the creatures are becoming more haughty and cunning and are taunting their victims even more.
Like a dream.
Are you looking for these?
Monsters that appeared in the trailer. Several monsters have made their way into the trailer of From. While most of these are creatures we have come across earlier, there is a debutante.
Let's see.
Professor. The Professor creature is seen when Boyd is cornered and tied to a bar in the barn, and a woman is heard screaming. He appears next to the cowboy creature. His appearance is significant in certain ways. For one, fans have always been confused about whether there are a fixed number of creatures in the town, or if it is possible for more creatures to show up, whether as older residents who were killed, or as completely new entities. The Professor creature is probably not an older resident, since Boyd does not recognize him. Maybe Victor can, but we have to watch the season to answer that. He is dressed formally and looks like a professor, hence the name. However, it makes the issue clear that there are more creatures out there who can be created, summoned, or converted, but we do not know how. Hopefully, the third season will shed some light on how newer monsters are making their way into the town, which will also be instrumental in explaining the entire lore of the show.
Hello.
Old Lady. The Old Lady creature is one of the earliest monsters we witness in the show when she kills Megan and Lauren in the first season, after sweet-talking her way into being invited to their home. While she looks like a kind old woman who could be your average grandma, she is anything but. In Season 2, she is seen by Victor and Tabitha in the caverns when she almost starts to wake up and scare the duo. Later, when Randall is sleeping in the bus after not being allowed in the colony house, the creatures come up to him and the Old Lady creature asks him if he is doing okay. Later, along with a number of other creatures, the Old Lady surrounds the RV where Boyd, Jim, Donna and Randall are taking shelter, and then follows Randall once she panics and runs away. In the trailer for Season 3, it appears that the Old Lady creature has managed to sweet-talk Ethan the same way she had Megan, and Ethan opens the door for her while she greets him with a hello. However, Julie comes in from behind and closes the door, but the Old Lady grabs it and the siblings run for their lives. It can be assumed that the Old Lady actively seeks out children to prey on since her appearance, and words can manage to fool them. It will be interesting to see how she actually managed to convince Ethan to open the door for her. Librarian. The librarian creature first makes an appearance in Season 2. She is an older woman who wears glasses and has a kind smile. In Season 2, when Ellis was stabbed by accident, Elgin was trying to get him to the clinic on time. They were surrounded by the creatures, with the librarian creature among them, who had innocently asked Elgin where he was headed. However, Elgin, Ellis, and Fatima had managed to escape safely. The second time the librarian came on screen was when many creatures were surrounding the RV Boyd, Donna, Jim and Randall were in. All four of them managed to escape the creatures. Nurse. The nurse creature is first seen by Boyd when in Season 2, when he escapes from the dungeon and follows a dog that leads him to the forest. When he hears the shrieks of the creatures, he hides behind a tree and sees many creatures walk past, including the nurse creature. She takes the appearance of a somewhat young nurse, wearing an outfit that looks like it is from the 1950s. She goes along with the other creatures to coax Randall out of the bus he was staying in, and she is also part of the horde that surrounds the RV and chases after Boyd, Donna, Randall, and Jim. Waitress. In Season 2, the waitress creature, along with one of her comrades, approaches two passengers from the Grand Rapids Runner bus and pretends to be human before killing them. Fatima witnesses this tragedy and tries to warn the passengers from the sheriff's office, but in vain. The waitress creature, along with the old lady, nurse, librarian, and others, also try to make Randall come out of the bus and chase after him when he leaves the RV. She has the appearance of a middle-aged waitress wearing a 1950s-era outfit, and in the trailer for Season 3, she mocks Boyd when she holds up the keys to the van he is trying to escape in. She smiles and asks him if he is looking for the keys, and when Boyd faces her, she tells him solemnly that he cannot save everyone around him. Milkman. This creature is seen in the trailer of Season 3, sinisterly approaching Jade. His left hand is covered in blood, and a dead animal, most probably a cow, lies on the ground before him. Jade almost freezes in terror, but Victor swoops in and presumably saves him from a terrible fate. Along with these creatures, there are a few more that appear in the trailer in split seconds. An old man and woman, a young girl in shorts, the lady who approaches the EMT, another woman, and a man. It is a little difficult to quantify them all because there are many creatures in the town. Marvelous verdict. Fans are going wild with the theories after the drop of the trailer, and for all the good reasons. With the landscape becoming even more menacing and terrifying, it is high time for the residents of the town to look out for themselves. While Tabitha is safe for now, she wants her family back and will probably go to any extent to get them back, even if it means returning to the world of From. Meanwhile, her family is probably worried about her too, and we see Julie crying in the teaser, which could be attributed to her not being able to have her mother around. Victor can answer some questions about her disappearance, and while it is not known whether he is aware Tabitha went back to the real world with his help, he can help others in the town escape the same way. Boyd is slowly losing his grip on his willpower because he is unable to keep everyone safe despite his best efforts. The creatures seem to know that Boyd is the unofficial leader of the residents, and therefore they taunt him by telling him he cannot save everyone and make him watch while a woman screams in pain. They know that instead of just killing Boyd, slowly breaking him will be a better display of their sadism. Jade is trying to solve the mystery of the symbol and comes face to face with a strange person who drinks from a skeleton, and some fans hint that this could introduce cannibalism into the show. Fatima is getting sick and coughing blood, which is not a good sign considering that she is pregnant, and Jim gets this mysterious call. And amidst all this, there is no food left in the town, and winter has set in, and the creatures are upping their ways to hunt the residents. The stage is all set for Season 3 of From to take fans through another rollercoaster ride. We are hoping the upcoming season is as good as the last two, if not better. And most importantly, it is time the showrunners answer our questions about this strange universe. Are you excited for the new season? Let us know your predictions about the upcoming events in the comments.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.